give an example of infidelity. Over
Mm-hmm.
70% of people who took a survey that their partner cheated actually stayed in that relationship, regardless. They stayed in that relationship, and that doesn't mean that the partner stopped. The partner still continued cheating. As a matter of fact,
What's going on, everybody? Hey, my name is Andy, and welcome to that one interesting podcast.
Perfect. They do got trust issues.
Why you say that?
I'm not working on nothing. I ain't your daddy.
What is your purpose? Why are you doing what you're doing?
She gotta be least big. That's an awesome name. High five.
High five for what?
High five.
What's going on? Welcome to episode 33 of that one interesting podcast. And today's topic is going to be being accountable in a relationship. And our guest today is Dr. Femi. I'm going to give him the opportunity right now to introduce himself so you can get to know him better.
hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. My name is Dr. Femi, also known as GFM. I'm a global relationship expert. I've been coaching singles and couples for over 11 years. I have several books that I've written. One of them is Revelations of Relationship: What You Don't Know About Finding True Love and Sustaining Relationship. And my latest one is How to Tell If Someone Truly Loves You. I've been featured on major publications, media outlets like ABC, NBC, Fox News, and also appeared on TEDx as well.
Oh yeah, talking about the TEDx, I accidentally fall into your one of your TEDx videos. And one of the things that that captured was the story that you tell at the end of that video when you say you used to throw parties and stuff, and about realizing finding the one that you really want and stuff.
hmm
Yeah, can you tell us
Yeah, that was
about that story? Yeah,
you really want me to tell you about the story, huh?
because that was very interesting. Because I watched the whole video and stuff, and that story was interesting.
Yeah, I mean many years ago I was a party promoter. I was into the party lifestyle, had my own social escapades going on, and being in the social life and being a party promoter, one of the key things is if you really want to draw the attention of people coming to the party scene, especially men who, they're gonna be the ones spending the money, popping bottles, all those things. You gotta be able to bring the honeys to the party. You gotta. Those
Hmm.
are the things that guys want to come to the party and see and get numbers and exchange and have fun after the evening, or connect with one another. So for that, I always have to be on top of my toes to reaching out to ladies and being friends with ladies. And then that comes with, you probably have to be in a relationship with one of them, or if not, find a way to just, balance the equation one way or the other. So I always find myself always being around ladies, and some girls just want to be part of, be the life of the party,
Uh-huh.
and show off to the other girls like, hey, I can get you in the door. I know the guy that is throwing the party. Don't worry. I mean, you know how ladies feel about that,
I've
so
always
they want to
been.
hang with the man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was caught up with that lifestyle, and I remember, this is such a crazy story. I remember
Yeah.
one time I had three ladies that slept in my house one night, and they did not know each other at all, and they all came from different states because I was having a party that night,
Mhm.
and they flew from different states to attend the party, and they crashed at my house. And I remember waking up in the morning, and whew, man, it was crazy. I mean, it was. I
Yeah,
mean,
I can tell.
one was feeding me food, and the other one was looking like, okay, I gotta go to the kitchen and get my own food so I can feed him. I mean, I see two girls competing. I'm like, what is going on here? And then the third one looking like, I gotta get him here. Like, this is all crazy. And
Yes,
as Biggie said, it was all a dream. But really, it wasn't a dream. It was my
reality.
reality.
So, what got you into the path of being like? What got you into the path of being a relationship coach?
So what got me into the path is actually party scene. Actually, it's
Okay.
quite funny. I remember I went to a friend's party,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a guy that I saw there who was like a mutual friend, and I saw him talking to a lady. And within 30 seconds, the girl already gave him her number. And I already knew this guy is a player.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt so bad for the girl because in my mind, I knew she's about to get played. Like 2, 3 months down the road, she's going to be calling her girls, like, I cannot believe this guy played me. And she's all going to be crying. And our girl's going to be giving her tissue paper, whatever, wipe your tears. I mean, I could just see that down the road happening. And at the end of the party, I remember driving home, and my friend that was with me, I was telling him, like, you know what? I need to start a radio podcast where I can actually share all the lies and the
Mm-hmm.
secrets, that guys tell ladies. And that's how I began actually helping people on a professional level, in a sense.
All right. You do you mind just share with us your professional podcast in case someone want to listen?
Yes, absolutely. So right now, I used to be on what is this radio called now? Just skip my mind now. Blog Talk Radio. So that
Mm-hmm.
used to be my podcast, but I stopped that. So now I just do like Facebook Live,
Mm-hmm.
which you guys can find on my page on Facebook, the GFM, THEGFEM. I come on live every Thursday at 8 p.m. And I also had a show on Jewel TV, which is streaming to about 60 million households. But the show stopped during because of the coronavirus. So
Mm-hmm.
I had like which is called Dr. Femi show, but it was on Jewel TV, and you could watch that on Roku TV, Apple TV, those major streaming network out there. But the show is put on hold now. But right now, what you can see is me coming live every Thursday on my Facebook, the GFM, THEGFEM, or on Instagram, which is GFM Speaks. And you can always every day get messages on relationship that I post as well.
All right, all right. Make sure you'll follow him and stay up to date with whatever he's with the show that he has going on. But today's episode title is being accountable in a relationship. To start off this topic, my first question is going to be what damage can be caused in a relationship if one partner is not holding themselves accountable?
If you're not holding yourself accountable, if your partner is not holding him or herself accountable, there can be emotional disconnect between you two. And when you have emotional disconnect, it's just a matter of time that will lead to a physical disconnect or a breakup. That's one. Another thing that can happen is lack of trust. So you don't trust your partner, maybe in the areas of finance. If they're not accountable in that areas of finance, you don't trust them. And when you don't trust someone, and trust is the bedrock of the relationship, why are you with them? If trust is lacking in such relationship. So those are the two major things that can really happen as a disadvantage for someone not being accountable.
All right. Like, what do you think one might have a hard time? Like, what do you think might cause them not holding themselves accountable in the relationship?
Well, ego is a major one. When you have ego, and ego tries to do two things. Ego tries to defend, and ego tries to protect. What are you
Mhm.
defending? You are defending yourself that you are right, that your ideas is the best, your opinion is the best, that you know what you are doing, and you are protecting yourself from vulnerability, or you are protecting your flaws, your weakness. You don't want somebody to ride over you. So ego plays a major role in you not being accountable. The second one is not having the right tools and knowledge to be accountable and the wisdom. Let's take for an instance, maybe someone is not being accountable in the areas of infidelity. So the person is always stepping outside the boundary of the relationship, and when they get caught, they're always apologizing and telling their partner, "I'm going to change. I'm going to change. It's not going to happen again." And you give yourself 1 month, you find yourself committing the same atrocity again. And the reason why is because there's not that tool, that knowledge to help them fix it or to prevent themselves from falling into that situation again.
You say it's not. There's no tools. Like, where can someone go about finding that tools and knowledge?
Well, listening to me on your program, that is one way. Or listening to your podcast, getting coaches to help you, relationship coaches, counselors, therapists, going to seminars on relationship, reading books. Those are all avenues where you can get tools, the information, the knowledge, the wisdom that you can apply to that specific information. Reading books as well. And I also have actually I created a course
Hmm.
online, which is how to stop infidelity. So if someone is going through that situation right now, and you are the one who's the perpetrator and you want to stop and you need the information, this course that I've created can help you put an end to it. And if you are also a victim, there is information in this course that can also help you on how you can heal yourself, because there has to be healing, and not blame yourself that you are the reason why your partner is stepping outside the relationship, because people or the victims always have that stories played in their mind that it is my fault. I'm not giving myself up to him or her. I'm not always available. They just like the other person is better than me. I cannot satisfy him on her. I mean, they have all those stories built up in their head. So I have this course that can help the victim as well. And it can be found on my online university, which is called the Improvement University, THE Improvement University.com.
All right. So if someone is dealing with that type of issue in a relationship, and he keep on or she keep on doing the same thing over and over again and not holding themselves accountable, how should somebody go about handling that type of situation in a relationship?
Okay, and is this question for the victim or for the one who is not
How about
accountable?
the victim?
The victim. Well, you have to first, two things I would say. One, you have to try to get your partner help. Trying to tell them like, look, you need to get help. You need to go get tools and information and resources to help you um, to become accountable in the relationship. Either you have to talk to Dr. Femi, or you have to find somebody out there who is a seasoned professional who deals with this kind of issues and that can help you fix it, so that we can get our relationship back on the right track and we can be on the same page. I don't want to lose you and you don't want to lose me. And if this relationship really worth something to you, you will go out there and get the tools. And if they're not doing that, then you have to give that ultimatum that, look, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, then that shows me that you are not interested in this relationship and I'm not worth keeping in this relationship. And that means deuces. Or everybody just got to go in their separate ways, because I'm not going to keep staying in a relationship where you cannot hold yourself accountable. I mean, it's not making me happy. You are not satisfying me. I'm not, being loved in this relationship, or I'm not being loved in this regard.
Have you ever dealt with someone that experienced that type of situation, but they still stay with that significant others?
Oh yes, I mean I've had people who stayed with significant order. Let's think about it. Give an example of infidelity. Over
Hmm.
70% of people who took a survey that their partner cheated actually stayed in that relationship, regardless. They stayed in that relationship, and that doesn't mean that the partner stopped. The partner still continued cheating. As a matter of fact, I know about a relationship where the guy cheated on the girl, and the
Mhm.
guy had another child outside of the relationship, and the girl still decided to stay. And while he still kept on cheating, and the same
Mhm.
situation, the girl actually went ahead find somebody for him that he
Oh,
can be cheating with. Do you know how crazy that sounds? I mean, I'm like, this is crazy. She
yeah,
went
it
ahead
is.
and find somebody that he can be cheating with. I said, for what reason? Well, so that at least I know who he's messing with. I'm like,
Wow.
this is crazy. This is ridiculous.
Wow.
And the funniest thing, whenever she needs money,
Mhm.
maybe she needs her husband to give her money based on whatever situation, and she can't get him to give her money. She will send that girl to him
Oh,
that,
wow.
hey, I need money. Find a way to convince him to give you this money so that I can get the money from you. I mean,
Wow.
it's crazy what is going on out there. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it is, it is. But on a side note, which which um which genders cheats more? Girl or guy? Just a side note.
Wow,
Based on your
it's
experience.
based on my experience. I would say in a different way. Okay, I won't say
Mhm.
who cheats more. Okay, I would say it this way: it's easier for a man to get caught, but it's way harder for a woman to get caught
All right.
when she cheats. Because men, we are not so crafty. We think we are crafty, we think we are slick, but we are not.
Mhm.
Because you're not even thinking about you kissing another girl and the fragrance on you. You're not thinking about it. Or
Mhm.
immediately you get home, you want to go to the bathroom and take shower because you want to clean yourself up. But that is something that you don't do every day. And your
Mhm.
girl is looking at you like, why is this guy coming home and the first thing he's doing is going straight to the bathroom to clean up? It's like,
Yeah.
well, something is odd here. Because your pattern has changed and you want to get rid of evidence, but you are not thinking that this is not the way I was yesterday. Or maybe your phone rings and you quickly, all right, let me go get my phone right now. Or you are stepping outside the house to pick up a phone. So you are leaving a lot of signals to
Mhm.
show that there's something off here. Whereas, a woman, man, I always say sometimes a woman's heart is like a deep ocean. It's
Mhm.
hard to really get in and find out the information that is hidden there. And I'm not saying this is the same for every woman, but generally speaking, it is hard for you to catch a woman cheating because they are very smart with it's just different ways. Men men are not. Men are not.
So basically what you
So
saying. Go ahead.
uh-huh. So basically, it's hard to say the numbers. It's hard to say men cheat more based on that, because a lot of men cannot find that their woman is cheating. You,
Mhm.
you don't know.
That's
It's
crazy.
very hard. Yeah, so we can't really say that. I mean, if you go with studies now, most or even experience, most people will say men cheat. Is because those men don't know how to cover their tracks.
Mhm.
And women that cheat, they know how to cover their tracks
Mhm.
and not give away any signal that something is going down. I mean, as a matter of fact, I know a girl who cheated on her man, and eventually, when she got caught,
Mhm.
she kept on still cheating with the same guy, and the husband did not find out.
Wow. Are they still together?
So no, 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 they broke up. They broke up after
Okay.
a while, and I think she broke up that relationship.
Okay, okay. But continue to what you were saying.
Yeah, so bottom line, it's hard to put to categorically say that men cheat more than women or women cheat more based on what I just explained.
So back to being accountable. Like I know you say egos plays a big part on holding for someone to hold himself accountable. Or do you
Hmm.
think also being unhappy also can make someone, being unhappy with themselves can make it hard for them also to being accountable and always blame something on somebody else? Like
Of
when it comes to
course.
relationship.
Of course. Look at what just happened recently with Jada Pinkett and
Will
Will
Smith.
Smith and
Mhm.
August. Yeah, I mean, she said during that red table that she has not felt good for so long, and she alluded to the point that she doesn't think what she did was transgression. I mean, you're not holding yourself accountable. You don't think that's transgression? Are you kidding me? I mean, it's like you stepped outside your relationship. Yes, you could say that you were separated. Separation is not a legal course. Being married is a legal thing. You are married. You are legally binded. So when you say you are separated, it's not a legal thing. And when you were separated, was there terms that you guys spoke about that say, okay, if I'm separated, I can go ahead and sleep with somebody else or have another relationship with somebody else. You guys didn't have such terms. So why would you not say that that was transgression? So she wasn't holding herself accountable in that situation. And it's because, like she said, she was unhappy. She never felt so good. I mean, I just felt that was really, I mean,
Harsh.
it was a tough. It was very hard to and very harsh to say to your man. I mean,
Yeah,
face to face and publicly. I mean, that is hurtful to me. That is hurtful to say you never felt so good for so long. And I mean, and Will, you can tell that Will was not happy
it's
with
sad.
what she was saying.
Sad.
He was sad.
Yes.
If you look at his face, it looked at maybe he already cried before that, even before they even had the red table conversation, because his eyes were red, kind of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It looked like he's been crying. And when a woman is speaking to a man like that, and the man is like, he's saying every 10 seconds, like, yeah, 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 that is a defense mechanism. You're not happy with what she's saying, and you are saying things to support that, to say that you are okay with what she's saying, so that you are defending yourself. You're not trying to show to your partner that you are actually not happy. You're trying to prove that, okay, I don't care about what you did. I'm okay. It's been 4.5 years now. I'm fine. But you're not really fine with it. So it's a defense mechanism that he was showing to keep no, I won't say interjecting, but to keep saying things in agreement with what she was saying. Like saying, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
You
but
get my point?
yeah, I got you. But the craziest thing that she said was she finally realized that happiness, you can't find happiness outside of yourself. It gotta come from within,
Mm-hmm.
which was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
She just found that out, which was, you know, weird for me to, to listen to that. But like, for being accountable, can someone avoid those type of relationship if someone not, how can, you pick some clues in telling if someone that's going to hold himself accountable if you get into a relationship with them? Can someone avoid this type
But
of relationship?
I think to say to avoid it won't be a good advice that I will give. And the
Hmm.
reason why is, even if you avoided that, there is still always going to be some other situation in the relationship. Every bond in a relationship always have their ups and downs. So there will be some other uh, situation in that relationship. Maybe it has to deal with miscommunication that you have to deal with. Maybe it has to deal with transgression that you have to deal with, or lack of trust. I mean, there's so many things. So to say that you want to avoid such relationship may not be the best, because, and you don't even know if you're going to run into that in another relationship. So what can you do is, can you identify that early on in the relationship before you guys even get married? Maybe there will be signals, maybe there will be signs, and then see if you can help the person get some tools. I mean, or get information or resources. We all make mistakes every now and then, but will the person be able to say, all right, let me self correct what I've done wrong and prevent myself from doing the same thing in the future? So we all make mistakes. We all have, errors that we'll make, regardless, if we are married to somebody or we are married to ourselves. And you're not going to get it right 100%. So don't run away from things of that nature, but run away if the person cannot get help or if the person cannot correct the mistake or fix the mistake. That is what I would say. Because otherwise, you will keep running from one relationship to the next and you will
Yeah.
never find a perfect person because there's no perfect person.
Oh wow, wow. But we talk about the damage that can be caused in relationship if one partner not holding themselves accountable. So let's switch to the good side. What are some advantage of being like when you hold yourself accountable in a relationship? How does the relationship flourish and stuff?
Well, when you're able to do that, it establishes trust in the relationship. Your partner is able to trust you. You're able to trust your partner. You don't have to always explain yourself everywhere you have to go or things that you have to do. I was speaking to a man who is over, it is probably 50s, going to late 50s, early 60s. And he was telling me on my program that I had that his wife trusts him now, as opposed to when they first started their relationship. And I asked him, do you know the reason why? And he said he doesn't. I said, because you're accountable. Your wife has seen that you have been accountable all this long and the trust is there, and that means you don't longer have to explain to your wife when you have to go make a business deal or when you have to go out and stay late, because your wife knows that, okay, my husband is doing the right thing. Or your wife doesn't have to feel like, even when you guys are having discussion, your wife doesn't have to think or feel that this person doesn't have my back. So when you are in a relationship where your partner or you hold each other accountable, it builds that trust. And when you have such trust, you have a great emotional connection, which you can now build upon. Now you guys can have vision, you can start working towards the same goals, and it's hard for a third party or an intruder to cut into that relationship or to triangulate your relationship. And your communication becomes better too. Communication is very key to relationships. So once you are accountable, it helps to build trust, it helps your communication, you have a more deeper emotional connection, and you can build upon that.
So you think that not being accountable in a relationship is why sometimes a male your significant might go out late and the other one might be calling him or her to come in the house. You think not being accountable plays a major part in that?
It can, because if you always go out or every now and then you go out and then your partner is always calling you, is because you're not accountable. Maybe for an example, you've told your partner that, hey, if I'm not coming home, if I'm not gonna be home by 10 p.m., I'm gonna call you. And then it's 10:30, you have not called. You're not accountable. That's just what it is. So your partner is calling you to check on you, that, hey, what's going on? You didn't call 10 o'clock. You said you were going to call 10 o'clock. You didn't call 10 o'clock. And this has happened 2 or 3 times now. So you're not being accountable. And it could also mean that maybe you are doing something else that you are not supposed to be doing that is making you late. So, yes, it can be that way.
So what are some good advice that you can give? Some tips you can give someone that's struggling with with a partner that's really not holding themselves accountable. I know we talked about it
Let
earlier.
me
What are some major tips?
let me give you an example for the person who is not holding himself or herself accountable. Let me tell you a scenario that happened to me early on in my marriage.
Hmm.
While I leave the house, I'll be heading to work, and my wife expects me that when I get to work, I should call her. And of course, I will tell her that I will call her. But once I get to work, I'm an extrovert. So once I get to work, I like to just speak to my coworkers and, hey, how was your night? How was everything? Or how was your weekend? And by the time I'm done with that, 1 hour already passed. Okay, or 45 minutes already passed. And my wife already knows that, from my job to the house is only about 30, 45 minutes. So if I don't call within 45 minutes or 50 minutes, she starts to panic. And all the time I tell her, oh, I'm sorry. The following day I'll repeat the same thing. The following another day comes, I repeat the same thing. I wasn't accountable. And then I had to realize, what do I need to do? At one point in time, she had to call my brother because she knows that my brother and I are close and we talk so often. So she had to
Mhm.
call my brother, like, hey, have you spoken to Femi? And he was like, he hasn't spoken to me. And she was like, well, I mean, he's been gone all morning. I mean, it's around 10 a.m. right now. He's left since like 7:30, 7:45. I've not heard from him. And
Mhm.
my brother was like, I mean, you need to calm down. Like, he's okay. He's at work. And maybe 20 minutes later, I called her. I'm like, babe, I'm so sorry. I got into work. After talking to my coworkers, I ran into team meetings. That took so long. But how many times am I gonna keep saying that? It's not that my wife doesn't trust me that I went to work. It's just that she's not at rest. She's not at peace. She was only calling and making sure that I'm okay. She wasn't calling just to be snooping on me, or she wasn't calling to say that, oh, maybe I don't trust you, but for our mind to be at rest. So, what did I do eventually? After telling her I'm sorry and still not making any change, I had to literally, and I'm telling you, literally, put on my calendar I'm telling you, put on my calendar, once you get to work, call your wife. And I have to time it. That I put an alarm there, that the alarm must go off at this particular time, that I need to call my wife. And guess what? I started doing that. Maybe after 1 week, I no longer rely on that calendar anymore or the
Mhm.
alarm anymore. Automatically, it registered in my brain because your brain, the more you do something, automatically registers in your brain and you do it automatically.
Mhm.
So I have practically done that so many times that my brain now recognizes that at a particular time or once I'm getting to work, I need to call my wife. So it now became a routine for me. But I had to practicalize that by making use of my calendar, making use of my phone, making use of all these tools that we have at our disposal to help us be a better man and be a better woman. So I had to use that. And then eventually that automatically happens that I didn't have to be using that calendar anymore. That my brain automatically picks up that once I get to work, I need to call my wife. And let me just give an example, just for somebody listening and say, how does that work with your brain? Well, a practical example is let's think about let's say a place of work or a particular place that you normally go. And let's say the first time you went to that place, you have to use GPS and you put the address in that GPS system. The GPS takes you there. The second day you went to the same place, you put GPS there. Third day you put GPS there. I bet you the seventh time, even if you put the GPS there, your mind is not even paying attention to the GPS anymore. Because now you know when to turn right, you know when to turn left. Because your brain automatically has understood the pattern of how you make turns, how long you have to drive on this road, and what needs to happen. So that is the way your brain works. So sometimes you have to charge that part of your brain to kick in by practically doing something over time. Or like somebody will say, if you have an habit, practice it for 3 weeks, if you do something 3 weeks, it will become an habit because your brain recognizes that for 21 days. They said typically 21 days, your brain recognizes that. But to some people, it may not take 21 days. It may just take 7 days, 8 days for your brain to kick
Yeah,
in and to automatically understand that.
I think it's like 3 weeks to become a habit, and 3 months it become a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some good advice? Like, what is like? Can break it down and give someone some great advice on ways they can fix that relationship when they're not holding themselves accountable, their significance, or not
Well,
holding themselves accountable, or they're not holding themselves accountable also.
yeah, if you're a victim in this situation, everything starts with a question. Ask that person, ask your partner, why are you not doing this? Let's say, for an example, put my situation of what I just explained that happened to me many years ago, going to work, but not calling my partner that, I'm safe, I got to work safely, nothing happened to me, put her mind at rest. And I keep on doing making the same mistake all the time. If you want to correct somebody, always ask a question. What is the reason? Ask the why. Why are you not doing what you are supposed to do? And you'll be amazed what the reason will be. Because now, once you know the reason, you can easily now give them or propose a solution, instead of punishing them for it. Let's take for an example. I remember my brother and I were having a conversation, and he was telling me about his daughter. And at that time, the daughter was probably 4 or 5 years old, and the daughter always sucked her thumb.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets mad seeing her suck her thumb, so he always trying to discipline her. So one day, him and I were having a conversation, and I'm like, well, you get mad and upset, and you are disciplining her for sucking her thumb, but have you actually asked her the reason why she's sucking her thumb? And he said he never asked. I said, ask, and after you ask, call me back and and let me know what she says. And one day, he asked her, why are you sucking your thumb? She said, it's because I'm bored. Whenever I'm bored, I suck my thumb. I said, now she told you that. What can you tell her? What advice can you give her instead of discipline her? Now, he told her that, okay, next time you feel bored, just go find something to play with, get toys, get, your PlayStation, or go read some books, or come to daddy, or go to mommy, or go hang with your friends. Like, he was able to say something or propose something more meaningful than her sucking at thumb or him dissing her. So it's the same aspect. When you find out the reason why someone something, it can be easier for you to propose a solution, and it might just be a minor solution to that. Because some people, it's hard for them to think of what the solution can be. In my own case, it took me a long time to actually think of, what can I use my phone? Why can't I just plug into my phone calendar and put an alarm there that tells me at a particular time that, hey, I want you to go off and remind me that I need to call my wife? Instead of me telling her and getting her upset and frustrated all the time and making myself look like an irresponsible husband.
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
always start with a why.
hmm so after you find the why, like, what's the next step?
The next step is depend on what they tell you. So if they tell you something that you think that they can self-correct, then you tell them to fix that. Or how can they prevent this next time? You see, you don't want to keep listening to your partner telling you sorry. You should go on with the next question. How can you prevent this from happening the next time? That will charge them to think, to come up with a solution. And if they cannot come up with it, they may ask you, what advice do you have for me? How can I better do this next time? Or how can you help me hold myself accountable? Sometimes the solution might even be in your own hands. Like, how can you help your partner be accountable? So it's a layer of information. You ask them the reason why, and based on what they are telling you, then your follow-up question is, then how can you prevent this from coming up the next time? Have them tell you that right there. And if they tell you, then you should be holding them accountable for that.
Or I heard you say one of the steps is how can you help them? How can you help your partner hold themselves accountable?
Mhm.
Is that an easy thing to do? Like helping them holding themselves accountable?
It's not an easy thing to do, because it can make the other person lazy, the person who is not accountable, and it can put so much task on you and pressure on you to keep helping them to be accountable for what they should be accountable for, so they can get lazy and just depend on you. So it can get frustrating eventually. But what you might want to do is, you might want to do it for the first time, second time, and third time, and then see if they can do it for themselves. You may do it for just to see if they can see the results of being held accountable. Sometimes some people need to see the advantage or the result of being held accountable, and then from there they can start picking it up. But you don't want to do it all the time. You want the person to eventually be the one to hold themselves accountable. But sometimes initially you may help. Initially you may help, but you don't want it to be a routine that you're gonna have to start. You're gonna have to be doing that forever.
Yeah, I know you told us a story earlier about the girl that helped her significant other cheat and stuff. Like, do you have you ever dealt with someone, they love their significant other so much that they brush off that type of issue on holding them accountable for certain things that they do, or them not holding themselves accountable, like because they love them so much that they brush off that situation, that problem in their relationship, but they keep on happening and happening.
Yeah, good question. I think no one should use love as a cover up to brush off a, a situation of your partner not being held accountable. Love is not enough to do that. You see, when you love someone, I mean, if you have Christian listeners, Bible says love is kind, love is patient, love is long suffering, love is also sacrifice. With all that I've mentioned, love is kind, love is patient, love is long suffering. Yes, your love is long suffering, your love is patient for the other person to change, but love is also sacrificial, meaning that the partner who is doing wrong has to make sacrifice, has to change his or her behavior so that they can also demonstrate that they truly love you. So
Mhm.
love goes both ways. While you are showing love, they also should show love to reciprocate that they are in love with you, that they can stop their atrocities or they can stop being not accountable. So it goes both ways. So we shouldn't use love and say, I love you so much that I'm going to overlook your transgressions. Like, no. See, that love is going to lead you to misery and to you being miserable in that relationship. And you're going to keep enabling that person. You don't want to keep enabling someone. You want to be in a relationship with you. Really good relationship is two matured individuals that truly love each other. I mean, I look at this old Jada Pinkett and Will Smith. I think he loves her more than she loves him with that situation. But you want to be in a situation where you truly love each other. The love for each other is filled up to the brim. So that when I'm showing you my love and you showing me your love, we are running over. Not that someone is running out of love. I typically use a bottle of water as an example of love. So you have a guy and a woman that they are both in love. The guy has a bottle of water. That bottle of water, look at it as love. Look at that bottle as the container of the man and the water as love. If that water is filled to the brim, he has a full love, and then the wife also has full love. If they are pouring into each other, do you think they're going to run out?
No.
Hello? No, they're not going to run out. But let's say the wife's love bottle is half empty and mine is full, and I'm
Yeah,
keep pouring it and keep pouring it. Eventually, I'm going to run out.
exactly.
So you want to have two people who truly loves each other and who are matured to do the work, but you cannot keep on using your love as a defense to keep enabling an immature individual to continue being immature. I mean, it's just
Exactly.
only a matter of time that relationship is gonna lead to divorce. You're gonna be like, look, I'm done, because it's not the way it's supposed to be. Relationship is not designed that way.
Exactly. That was a great answer. But I'd like to thank you for taking the time, to be with us today on that one interesting podcast. To end this podcast, I want you to finish this sentence. Being accountable in a relationship is.
Being accountable in a relationship is the beginning of trust. It's the beginning of trust and emotional connection and great chemistry to have.
Yep, yep. So, is there any last word that you'd like to share with us before we end the podcast? Anything that you want to share with the audience? Anything that you do? I know you share your your broadcast that you do on Facebook. If any last word that you want to share with us, you have the time right now to go ahead and share it.
Absolutely. Thank you for this opportunity to be a blessing to your listeners. I really appreciate it, and you're doing the fantastic work. So keep up the great work that you are doing. For those, if you want to follow me on Instagram at GFEM Speaks, GFEM Speaks with an S. Also on Facebook too, GFM Speaks or the GFM, THEGFEM, or Twitter at GFM Radio. I have courses on relationship that I've already created that you can access, can help you on communication. It can help out to identify if someone truly loves you or if what you are feeling is true love or not. How to have a very great relationship. I mean, so many courses that can help you how to end infidelity, how to build trust in that relationship, or to rebuild the love that you guys once had in the relationship. And you can access those courses on my website, theimprovementuniversity.com. theimprovementuniversity.com. And if you need coaching, I'm always available for coaching. You can send a message to askforcoaching@gmail.com. Askforcoaching@gmail.com. Or you can just hit me up on my social media platform. Once again, GFM Speaks on Instagram, same on Facebook or the GFM, and then Twitter at GFM Radio. So God bless. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Yes, yes. Thank you for stopping by on on that one interesting podcast. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us and give us your knowledge. Before to end this podcast, I also want to thank for everybody that has been listening, and we out.